It's a word we use without thinking. Our photos live there, our documents, our music. It feels abstract somewhere and nowhere at the same time. A place we rely on but never actually see. But the cloud isn't new. Long before streaming video, long before smartphones, long before anyone imagined backing up their life online, the idea behind the cloud already existed. Not in Silicon Valley, not in a startup, not in a university lab. It began inside the Department of Defense. In the middle of the 20th century, the US military faced a problem that couldn't be solved with weapons or manpower. Information. This wasn't about simple reports or paperwork. It was about nuclear arsenals, missile defense systems, early warning radars, and global intelligence networks. Data had to move between Alaska and Colorado, between submarines in the Pacific and command centers in Washington, and it all had to work under one absolute condition. It could not fail. If one location was destroyed, the system had to continue. If communication lines were cut, information still had to be accessible. If an attack came without warning, commanders needed answers immediately. This wasn't a matter of convenience. It was a matter of survival. Now imagine the world at that time. No personal computers, no modems, no internet. Information lived in filing cabinets, on magnetic tapes, in specific physical locations. If you needed the data, you went to it. And if that place was destroyed, everything inside it was lost. That level of fragility was unacceptable. The military needed information that could travel thousands of miles, update continuously, and remain available even during wartime. During the Cold War, the threat of a first strike was real. Missiles could reach American soil in under 30 minutes. Decisions had to be made quickly, and decisions required information. So a critical question emerged. How do you build a system that can survive the very attack it's designed to respond to? The answer wasn't a single invention. It was a shift in thinking. Instead of concentrating information in one secure place, distribute it. Instead of relying on a single command center, create many. Instead of storing one copy of data, replicate it across multiple locations at the same time. If one node failed, another continued. If one copy was destroyed, others remained. The system didn't collapse. It adapted. This is the core logic of cloud computing. Not speed, not convenience, resilience. The military didn't want the cloud. They needed it. By the 1960s, distributed systems were already taking shape. Data centers communicated with each other. Workloads were shared. Critical information was backed up across vast geographic distances. Storage wasn't just copied, it was mirrored. Access was no longer limited to a single location. Officers at distant bases could request information without physically traveling to a central archive. These systems weren't called the cloud. They weren't advertised. They weren't discussed publicly. They were built quietly, refined constantly, and classified by default. Yet the principles were the same ones we use today: decentralization, replication, and access from anywhere. For a long time, the civilian world had no reason to notice. The cost alone was enormous. These systems required specialized hardware, secure facilities, and dedicated communication lines. No business needed that. No university could afford it. And most people didn't even own a computer. More importantly, civilians didn't plan for total infrastructure collapse. They didn't need systems designed to survive catastrophic attack. So the military solved these problems in isolation, building solutions for a future the rest of the world hadn't reached yet. Decades later, the world caught up. By the 1990s, the internet spread rapidly. Businesses went digital. Data began growing at an unprecedented scale. And suddenly, the same questions appeared everywhere. How do you protect information from disaster? How do you access it from multiple locations? What happens if one server fails? The answers already existed. Technology companies took ideas the military had refined decades earlier, simplified them, adapted them, and gave them a new name: the cloud. The architecture wasn't new. The logic wasn't new. Only the audience was. Military systems prioritized reliability above everything else. Speed didn't matter if the system failed. Convenience didn't matter if data was lost. User experience meant nothing if information couldn't be accessed during a crisis. That mindset created systems that lasted for decades, but it also made them expensive, slow to evolve, and inefficient by commercial standards. Civilian cloud platforms reversed some of those priorities. They became faster, cheaper, and more flexible, but they kept the core insight: distribute, replicate, survive. When you save a file to the cloud today, it doesn't live in one place. It's broken into pieces and stored across multiple servers, often in different cities or even different countries. If one fails, the others compensate. You never notice. That's not a modern breakthrough. It's Cold War logic adapted for everyday life. What once required military clearance now costs a few dollars a month, sometimes nothing at all. But the foundation hasn't changed. The cloud wasn't invented overnight. It wasn't the result of a single visionary or a startup breakthrough. It emerged from necessity. The military learned early that lost information can't be recovered. For them, failure wasn't an inconvenience. It was a threat to survival. So they built systems designed not to fail. And decades later, the rest of us inherited them. The cloud may feel modern, but the idea behind it is older than the internet, older than personal computing, older than the word itself. It didn't begin as convenience. It began as necessity.